Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Hopefully you're all good. Hopefully you're all okay. Welcome back to another video. Match preview QPR v Leicester at MATCHDAY Loftus Road. It seems to have been a while. It feels a long time since I've gone live. It's only technically actually been since Sunday. So yeah. But yeah. Coming back off of that Middlesbrough loss. Yeah, I'm still in shock, to be honest. I'm still in shock. Just about that great football that I was watching. Firstly, I want to say huge shout outs to all the Borough fans, honestly, and QPR fans who tuned into that match reaction and the watch along. That just killed off. It just flew off. It just flew off. I'll just put it like that. So yeah, we got a chat. Nick's joined in. Hiya DB. How are you, Nick? Hopefully you're okay. How are you? Hopefully having a good day, good week, almost weekend. Yeah, not bad. We'll wait to see if anyone else comes in before we start. Hopefully everyone's all good this week. We got big game this week anyway, so oh man, bit nerve-wracking one, but yeah, good to hear, Nick. Good to hear. Welcome into the chat as well. Welcome back. I keep on saying welcome to the channel. I don't know why. What we thinking? How we feeling with the result or the game, I should say, coming up? How we feeling? We nervous? Tell you what, it's gonna be a hard game. It's gonna be a hard game on Saturday, man. Honestly, 3 o'clock kickoff at Loftus Road. Marty Fuentes coming back to haunt us. Well, that's what he's hoping for, I guess. You know, they've got some great players, which we'll get into in a bit. So yeah. Right, we'll get into it now anyway. Let's switch over to the preview. Right, here we go. So we got Leicester City on Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff. Going into the game at 3 o'clock. Oh, gonna be tight, but at home I fancy us to nick it. Well, we'll see what happens. You never know. Never say never. But yeah, Queen's Park Rangers, Leicester City, 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday at the MATCHDAY Loftus Road. Referee in the game will be Tom Neild. It will be not heard of him much, to be honest. So we'll do some information on him whilst we in the match preview for today. But first things first, we're gonna go into obviously a recap of our last game. So yeah, Middlesbrough, obviously if you want to check out the video, go check it out. But yeah, Middlesbrough played an outstanding game against us. Very, 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 very quality playing style for Borough, and they beat us 3-1. So yeah, congratulations Borough. They look like the top 2 has been decided already, I think. A lot of people will probably say it's too early, but the way those 2 teams are performing at the moment and the way they play, it's just amazing, honestly. So yeah, but we go into this game in a little bit of form, I would say. We're not exactly in great form, but we lost to Norwich 3-1 away, surprisingly. We beat West Brom 3-1, beat Birmingham 2-1, then we lose again 3-1 away to Middlesbrough. Obviously the game just gone, but we're in a bit of a similar scenario, obviously, like Leicester. We're in better form than Leicester, I would say, probably, with more wins in the last 5 games. They are ahead of us just by goal difference +3, which is a bit of a surprise because Marty never actually could get us to that level of goal scoring ability. I think it's because of the team he has. On paper, Leicester City are definitely a stronger team than us for sure, but we have kind of got the same little scenario similarities we do between teams. We do as you can see, Leicester City's kind of seasonal stats there, which I've put up instead of our team now. But yeah, we're both sitting next to each other in the table. We've actually won more games than them. They've drawn more games, which kind of makes sense with obviously how Marty Fuentes was with us and how his playing style is. But if we go into Leicester City's games that they've played the last couple of games they've played, I should say. So last result was a 3-1 win against Ipswich on, I think it was on Saturday. Yes, correct. The same time we played, with goals from Reed, Fatawu and Ayew. It was. Now looking at it, their momentum and ball possession on that game was not great. You know, they didn't really have even an expected goals. You know, it was all Ipswich Town, which I thought Ipswich Town should have won that, but Leicester seemed to do the job. You know, they got the player, they playing wherever it was and got the goals. You know, so 3-1 v Leicester. Then he obviously a 2-2 draw with Bristol City, which is the same thing. Expected goals was there, but no momentum or ball possession. So yeah, Bristol City was pretty much all over them. The Derby County win, 3-1 away. Same again, no possession, just more first half momentum from Leicester City than Derby in that game. Sheffield United, which they lost 3-2, which they dominated the game completely, but still lost. Oh yeah, they dominated the game but still lost somehow. I don't know how that was even get Sheffield United as well. You know, what the hell was that? But they lost to Southampton. But Southampton, in my opinion, when they played Southampton, it was at the wrong time. Honestly, just like us, really. We played Southampton at the wrong time, where great head coach who has obviously officially been signed with Southampton. So yeah, great for him and Southampton. But I feel like obviously everyone knows we don't really need to look at stats or whatever with Mike, because we know how he plays, right? We know his style of play. We know what he's going to do. He puts it on there. He tells everyone what he does, what type of football he does, you know. So technically we should have this in the back, you know, but because of player differences in their team, I would not be surprised if they give us a good game at home, 100%. You know, there's going to be mixed emotions, mixed feelings about Mai Fuentes from both sides, to be honest, because I'll be honest, I think Leicester City want him gone. You know, Leicester City fans don't want him there. So, yeah, it's a bit of a surprise there, especially within the position they're in. They've not exactly had an expected season that the fans were hoping for. But, you know, they're doing okay. I would say they're still there. You know, it's early stages of the season. You know, they're in the top 10, which is a good positive start for Leicester. But they've got goals pretty much everywhere in their midfield and forward line. You know, you got Jordan Ayew with one assist, 4 goals. Mavididi with 2 goals. Reed with 4 goals. You know, 6 assists, 4 goals from Fatawu, who is going to be a danger man against us. You know, we've got to watch him carefully. We've got Oliver Skip, who has a goal. Jordan James, who's been on form this season, an incredible midfielder, especially when he was at Birmingham, the youngster. He's another Birmingham prospect, but he did go, I think it was to, I can't remember where he went to, but yeah, Leicester City snapped him up, and he's just been killing it this season for Leicester City. So yeah, very interesting to see what is going to happen with him in midfield, with what kind of rotation, maybe what's going to be there. Thomas, left back, really quality left back, really have a lot of respect for him, lot of big up on him as well, especially in the Premier League when he did well. So he got 2 assists. Vestergaard's got 2. Tall guy, gotta be careful with obviously set pieces with Marty and this guy Nelson, who is another young centre back doing well, but no goals so far or assists. And then you got Ricardo Pereira with an assist and 2 goals. And then obviously Stolarkic in goal. Let's have a look at the comments quickly. Reese, welcome back into the channel. Welcome to the chat. Welcome back anyway. Hello, mate. Not confident for tomorrow. If they click, then I'll end up like the Ipswich game. Tomorrow? You mean Saturday, mate? We're playing Saturday. But yeah, I'm mixed feelings with it. I'm mixed feelings. I'm not going to say I'm positive 100%, but I don't feel like we're going to get demolished and lose, you know? So, yeah. Harvey, what's up, mate? How are you? Have you good? Sup, sussy bake. What? What the hell, sup, sussy bake? I'm confused. Right, says Saturday even. There we go. Cool. But yeah, that's their seasonal stats at the moment with their squad. What they play, pretty much, you know, best stats of their team so far. Now, players to watch: Jordan Ayew, great striker, everyone knows him since Swansea, and obviously in France as well, going to Palace, and I can't remember the other team he went to, but yeah, quality striker. He's doing the bits and bobs for Marty Fuentes at Leicester, so yeah, he's gonna be one of them guys to watch out for. I would be honest, I think pretty much every player, for example, Fatawu, we got to be careful with him on the wing because he's a great set piece taker and a great goal scorer, and he can take players on. Same as Mavididi, same thing with goals. Reed is Reed plays that kind of like scenario where Kone and Burrell play, where they kind of switch it up a little bit when they're both up front. You know, one's either like behind behind them, and playing as like a deep line forward type of player and waiting to see what happens with rotation. Oliver Skip is a great defensive midfielder, someone that we gotta make sure that doesn't win the ball a lot. We got to kind of utilize the section of the part of, if he goes in hard on a challenge, try to get him sent off. Hate to say it, but it's the honest truth. Jordan James is just pretty much our Madsen, really. Just someone that Madsen can do the same thing, but hasn't really done it this season. But 2 assists, 5 goals from James is, is showing great, an attacking alert for us to watch out for. But I think the most important one is Vestergaard. We got to look out for, because his height is going to kill with corners and set pieces into the box. So we got to be careful with his height on there, and we got to make sure either Jimmy Dunn or Jake Clocksall is on that pitch for sure. Definitely. Ryan says, surely we go another man in midfield. Got to be common sense by now. Constantly being overrun and making us concede very preventable goals. I would say yes. I kind of get into that point now where I don't see the point of having 2 strikers on the pitch now. I honestly think Brown Kone, none of our strikers can play together, to score goals. When you have 2 strikers up front like that, you're meant to be seeing a lot more goals than we are. Kone has only scored 4 goals this season, Burrell 9. We have the ability there, but I just think it's better off just to play 1 striker right now and have 3 in midfield. So like having pretty much Kone up front, Sato, Chair and Smith with Madsen and Varane or whatever it is. You know what? Even give Kieran Morgan a shout right behind the striker. He seems to be like screaming for the opportunity. So yeah. But we definitely need height in that defensive half. We do, just in case we get outdone by corners, set pieces. They have height. They have real good height, and we got to be careful with that as well. And I'm hoping Julian Stefan has already sorted his team out, spoke to them, and been like, you know what, we got to be careful. You guys know how Marty plays. Jake Clark-Salter obviously didn't ever get a game for Marty Fuentes that well. Only the odd 1 or 2 appearances because of his injuries. But he has a chance this week to prove to Marty what he missed. So, yeah. Madsen, obviously, is going to go for redemption. I don't think Madsen and Marty had a great relationship, just because of how he didn't really get that much game time with Marty. And to me, that's what kind of gives me the feeling, did Marty even want Madsen there? So yeah, I think Madsen can prove him wrong for sure on Saturday, if that was a case there. I'm not going to sit here and say what team we need to put out, because I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't know what the team news is. I know Harvey Vale, Ilyasher should be back now, and some others. So we're getting gradually a full team fit. But there is obviously the decision with the goalkeeper, like who are we going to put in goal? Nardi, Joe Walsh, Ben Hamer. Obviously, we'll get into that after this. I'll have a little chat with you guys after about what the latest news is, what I've heard of certain things. Welcome Dale to the chat. Welcome back. Hopefully you're all having a good evening. But yeah, I would say realistically it's going to be an interesting game. You know, Marty Fuentes back, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to QPR. I've got a feeling and confidence back in my team to feel like we can actually do Leicester in. Not by a big extravagant scoreline, but a 2-1 win seems to be reasonable against another strong opponent in my opinion. So yeah, you know, we can't really look at Leicester and think, all right, cool, you know, they're going to be weak with how their performance with the fans and stuff like that, because, you know, at the end of the day they're doing the same thing as us with more goals, you know. So it's an opportunity for us to climb up the table yet again. We can't really go up far, depending on results. We can only go up a couple of spaces. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Read my mind, mate, was gonna ask if there is any transfer rumors going about. Sorry, we'll talk about it after this. Let me just finish up on the match preview. Sorry, not match reaction. That'll be next week. But yeah, I reckon I got full confidence in Julian to put a good team out. 4-2-3-1, or 4-4-3-3, whichever the formation he uses, I'll be happy with. So yeah, hopefully we can get in there, get the job done, and just watch out for them set pieces from Leicester, because we know what Marty and Xavi are like with set pieces on goals. So yeah, Chair, obviously, like I said, I think he might be back in training. I'm not too sure, but hopefully he is. See what formation he puts out and what, you know, team news and stuff like that. We'll find out more information tomorrow anyway. So yeah, but that is the match reaction. That is for now. We'll get into the actual game on Saturday at 2:45. You know the drill, what time it is usually. We'll go from there. Now, what I will say right now is there has been talks of QPR bringing in another goalkeeper. There is. QPR, obviously I obviously forgot about it completely. Ben Hamer, obviously his contract ends when January starts. You know, it's only a short contract he signed. So he will be, if he is released and not re-signed, he will be gone. And there's been talks, obviously, QPR bringing in a different keeper. Now, I like Ben Hamer. I think he's done all right, but the recent progress of who we're interested in goal, which I'll go into now if I can find the article again. Sorry about the clicking. So the report is this. So we're very interested in pursuing for goalkeeper Anthony Patterson. You know, there's a lot of competition from other clubs for him, the Sunderland keeper. You know, he hasn't really had game time this season, but he has done well last season in the Championship. He did. So it is a very quality young keeper, in my opinion. He's very good in goal. He reminds me a bit of like a Fraser Forster type of goalkeeper when he was in his Celtic days. So I think it would be a good signing if we get him, but obviously depending on, obviously it sounds like it'll be on loan. But if we bring him in, then that leaves Nardi and Joe Walsh question whether what's going to happen to them, because, you know, Patterson's going to want first team football. So if it's a player that Julian is very interested in and wants to play him, he's going to probably be our first choice keeper, I would say, depending on if we bring him in or not. So Patterson it sounds like we're very interested in a keeper if Ben Hamer actually leaves in January. So yeah, I know there's going to be a couple of loanies being sent out. I think Collie is going to be sent out on loan, if I'm not mistaken, because there's been a bit of reports that he's not happy at the club at the moment. But that's only reports on like I said, when it's a serious scenario, I will not put it out there until I know it's a reliable source. But the source that I'm looking at is not reliable in my opinion. So, you know, unless I get a full reliable, you know, thing on it, then I'll pull it properly out there. But right now, it's just someone that's put out there saying Collie is not happy at QPR. So yeah. With, like I said, with transfers at the moment, that's the only thing that has been popped up, which is the goalkeeper from Sunderland. Obviously Tylon Smith has gone now to the African Cup of Nations with South Africa. So full on good luck to him. I think we've already said that already before. Sure there was another article somewhere that I saw of another interest somewhere. I know we're interested in a youngster. I can't remember who the youngster was now. I can't remember the article, but yeah, right now Ben Hamer's the only news at the moment, and that is coming out of QPR. So yeah. Ryan says that 4-3 would be lovely. Nick says more pressure on them with returning Marty, but they have the more expectation of need to be up top where we don't. Ryan says from a guy who I know who's quite close to the club, says that talks are done or nearly done with Ronnie Edwards. Okay. So the Ronnie Edwards thing has been very quiet for a month since I last spoke about it. But I usually know, like someone usually says something to me, but that person's been quiet for quite a bit. So I would say this, Ronnie Edwards, like I keep saying, is definitely a must sign for sure. But whether we're going to do it or not, the only thing I can think of is if we sell a player to bring him in. I got a funny feeling it's to do with wage, why we didn't really get him in properly. And I think we want to sign him permanently. I don't think it's going to be a loan. I think a signing on permanent basis is something we're looking into. So hopefully, wherever it is, we definitely need to bring someone in to support the centre back. So yeah, depending on what formation he uses. But my main thing is, listen, you know, I don't know what he's going to do with the striking element of QPR, but I think he needs to understand only one up front is needed. You know, if we're going to play two up front, you know, he's got to figure out why we're not scoring goals from both players, you know. So yeah, I could be expectation-wise too high, but in my opinion, if you play two strikers, you know, we need to see a lot more attack and a lot more goals from that sense. So yeah. Ryan says, pretty sure only reason why we didn't get him in the summer was because Southampton didn't bring him in another centre back. The thing was this. They let go a player on loan. I can't remember if it was to Portsmouth. And because of that happened, or Sheffield United, sorry, because of that happened, they didn't want to let him go. So that's what I got told anyway. But I think wages as well was struggling as well. I think they couldn't also agree with a deal for wages. So yeah. But yeah. That's all I can say for you guys tonight. That'll be it. We're about to hit the 30-minute mark. We are on this QPR reaction preview, sorry, to against Leicester. Hopefully you have a great evening. Hopefully you've enjoyed the live stream. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to. But hopefully we get to see you guys on Saturday afternoon to watch the game. We'll be live, like I said. Fingers crossed we get the 3 points. And Marty Fuentes, well, struggles, you know. I'm a bit, like I said, I'm 50-50 on it this week. I'm not 100% down on it, but I think we have a good chance. So yeah. But thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Nick, Ryan, Harvey, Elliot, Dale, you all, thumbs up for you guys, and whoever else tuned in. You know, thank you everyone for supporting the channel. But I would say this to end it off. Just a huge thank you everyone for basically supporting the last two live streams. You know, they both killed it, man. You know, I've never haven't really seen it before. For those you know, Middlesbrough fans have seemed to love it. And yeah, I just want to say thank you for your support. And yeah, just it helps a lot. So yeah. Apart from that, have a great evening, guys. And we'll catch you on Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Well, week, I should say. And it's almost Christmas, so heads up. Don't worry. Stay positive. Peace, love, positivity as always. And we'll catch you in a bit. Peace.